Hi, welcome to the MyNASA Data Project. I'm Susan Moore, one of the educators on the project, and our project director is Dr. Lynn Chambers from NASA Langley Research Center. Before we start an overview of the website, I wanted to show you just a couple of objectives for MyNASA Data. The MyNASA Data Project is a 5-year grant project whose purpose was to make all of the wonderful data that's available through the Earth Observing Systems satellite instruments available to educators and to citizen scientists. So the project goals are 3 in number, to again make Earth science data usable and accessible for the K-12 and citizen scientist community. We also want to support NASA Earth science goals in education and technology. And of course, we want to stimulate public interest. We want to educate the next generation of explorers and help the students to learn to use NASA resources. One of the main components of the MyNASA Data project is the website. And the website, which we'll go over here in a few minutes, makes Earth science data accessible. One of the ways to do that is through microsets, and I'll talk about microsets just here in a couple of minutes. We also have a wonderful list of lesson plans. We have computer tools, and we have a way for you to sign up to receive a monthly e-note and to give us suggestions. We love to have educators give us feedback on our materials. And the third part is an e-mentor network where you as an educator or your students can email questions to us, and we forward those questions to a network of experienced scientists and educators. And again, I'll mention that. If you need to jot down the website, it's there at the bottom of your screen. We get our data from NASA Langley Atmospheric Sciences Data Center. We have over 100 different parameters of Earth system data. So one of the main things that I want to share with you today is how do you use what we call the Live Access Server for calling up data to use with your students. We also have other Earth science organizations that work with us, such as the Earth Science Information Partners, the ESIP Federation, DeLisi, which is a wonderful digital library for Earth system education, and I would suggest that you check that out also. And of course the GLOBE program, which some of you perhaps have heard about, the global observations to benefit the environment. As I mentioned, I wanted to talk about data just for a few minutes. The data falls into 4 main categories. All of the data is housed at either the NASA Langley Atmospheric Science Data Center or at other data centers that are working with us to provide data for us to include in our server. The 4 categories are radiation budget, clouds, aerosols, and the tropospheric chemistry, which would include things like ozone and CO2. Also, you'll notice some images. This is a type of image that your students will be able to generate using our website. As I mentioned, we wanted to go over a little bit about microsets. If you could imagine a huge amount of data that NASA would have available by collecting through its instruments, that huge amount of data, we're talking about terabytes of data, try to load on your home computer or your computer at school, your computer would probably crash. It takes a supercomputer or a Unix-type system to process the data. So what we wanted to do at MyNASA Data is take that huge set of data and partition it out average it out, make it into a smaller and smaller and smaller portion of data called a microset. So just like the word sounds, it's a very small data set taken from the larger data set, and it will be able to run on the home computer, whether it's a PC or a Mac. The data can be selected based on a location or a time, a year or a month, or the type of parameter, such as clouds or sea surface temperature, for example. We have microsets that are already called pre-cut, already set up for you to use, or the really nice part of this is that you can customize the data to fit the topic that your students are studying at the time. For all of our data, we have lesson plans and tools to help you implement the data set. We have lesson plans that I'll point out when we get to that section on the website. Our lesson plans have been peer-reviewed by educators and by scientists and are all standards-based. We have several computer tools and tutorials, and we also have a citizen scientist affiliation that contribute science project ideas and also continue to send in lessons. Our eMentor network, again, is email-based. It's not an actual physical mentor that's assigned. So it's very user-friendly. You and your students can just email us using the online registration that I'll show you on the website. And then the real fun part of this is the live access server where you can customize the data for your students. It allows a lot of flexibility to adapt it to the topic of study. All right, here is our home page. And if you'll notice on our home